Welcome to Good News, Bad News, the Libertarian Christian Roundtable, where every other week we challenge the status quo and give you the libertarian Christian analysis of what's happening in your world.
All right, welcome back, everybody, where the patriarchy has won because we have Norman, Aaron, and Matthew on with us tonight. We have successfully... Never mind.
Finally.
We haven't successfully done anything. We're just
being
jabbing
stupid.
Carrie. Hope she feels better.
I talk more than my wife. Does that kind of count? Like,
all right, there we go. So
you'll bring the feminine energy today.
We want to. This is, of course, our
Blue tie
Christmas
will do it.
episode because our can't even get through my intro, guys.
Go ahead.
This is, of course, our Christmas episode because we're wearing Santa hats and Matthew is playing Santa in Santa's workshop, and Norman is stuck in the 90s, and Aaron is
as usual.
Just forgot to change his background. So
I changed it. It was different.
He's stuck in Bitcoin world.
I'm sorry for all of you listening who just have to imagine what's in our background. So if you could just go subscribe and like our YouTube videos, get notifications and all of that, you'll be able to do that. Even if all you do is just peek in and watch the YouTube video and share it on your social media, that's exactly what we want you to do. What we're going to talk about tonight is a lot of what the government wants you to do. And apparently we have the worst Christmas message ever from a president giving notes to the unvaccinated. Matthew, can you tell us the warm Christmas greetings from the Biden administration?
Yeah, Doug, you had it all wrong. These are warm, loving, caring messages from our overlords who love and care us, and they care for us, and they just want us to let us know that, you know, they're intent on not letting Omicron disrupt work and school for the vaccinated. You've done the right thing.
For the vaccinated.
You will get through this for the vaccinated. For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals. You may soon overwhelm Die Pig. I added the Die Pig.
Yes, and this is a screenshot. Yet it is also definitely
it's real.
Definitely real.
Doug and I initially looked at this and we're like, this can't be real, right? This is not something that the White House would actually say, right?
No,
surely you're
not
joking,
a White House that we
Mr.
voted
Bellis.
for decorum. Like it was the indecorous previous
This
administration. You might
exactly
have words like this.
But this is real. It's actually in a press
spectacular.
Release. Yeah, we're rather blown away. And this is coming from, people who we're not.
It's healing the country. I don't know if you guys know this, but that's the way you heal the country.
This is how you heal the country.
This is how you
heal the country.
Aaron,
you're going to die.
2021, Biden promised that he was going to bring the right and the left together and finally do international consummation.
And this is coming from
those were his words. He was going to do
from the White House that said specifically prior to being elected, we're not going to make this vaccine mandatory. No way. We can't make the vaccine mandatory. And if you think we're kidding about freedom, that, folks. That's real too.
We've got we're not going to make the vaccine mandate.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
Later mocked people who
passport.
had freedom, which we talked about on a previous episode.
Gracious.
But we're just going to castigate people who don't choose to get vaccinated and pretty much wish them illness and death.
And it's not as if that we oppose the vaccine alone. It's not I got my mRNA vaccine. I think that it's great technology and I think it's really interesting stuff. And I disagree with some of the critics about it. That's okay. But I'd still as heck, we're not going to require anybody to go against their conscience or to go against their own beliefs about what they think is appropriate for them. That ain't right. So let's get real, guys. Come on, man. That's going to be my favorite Biden phrase going forward. Yeah. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, though, as the Biden administration and the White House put out that press briefing letting people know that the unvaccinated are going to cause the whole country problem, a whole new slew of Christmas cards immediately went out from Hallmark to show that, if you wanted to send this to your family, wishing you and your family a winter of severe illness and death. So, that's just lovely from them. And also we have some homespun cards, just as you do every single year. This is from my friend here. You'll get sick and die this winter. So,
that's so sweet.
Isn't it sweet? It's nice, standing by the fireplace, just letting everybody know this is the last time you'll see Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Make it
Amazing.
merry.
Well,
better make it a good one, because this will be the last one. Well, I mean, but so here's the thing, though, that as terrible as that was, and it has the division that creates in this country, there's going to be even more division come 2022, because in the city of Boston, let me just show you this here to you, the city of Boston is going to require on January 15th everybody who is wanting to attend a public space, whether it be a restaurant or fitness facilities, entertainment spaces, certain meeting spaces in Boston, even venues like such as concerts and theaters, you have to be vaccinated to go inside. So in one of the most coldest cities in America, if you want to go inside, you have to be vaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, you have to sit outside in the snow, in the cold, just like the filth you are, you vermin.
Yeah.
So
The only thing
look at
good
these.
about
Look
that
at
is
the mask on those people too. Those are amazing.
good masked people
Cover their eyes.
wearing no socks. So
I just realized
In the coldest city in America.
I mean, have you ever been to Boston in the winter? You went to MIT, Norman.
Yes, I lived in Boston.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Winter.
It's not a warm, pleasing tone. As like
It is not.
it ain't Austin.
you ain't seen nothing till you've seen a Boston winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're a little bit
You're-
behind because isn't New York already doing this?
Yeah.
Well, New York is doing it, yes, but it just seems that Boston is just now catching on to the trend.
Yeah.
But frankly, there are, from what I know, court challenges going through right now that will probably render these things moot and unenforceable and unconstitutional. So,
but even if it's not the case, it's like these are not wise policies from the outset.
No.
These are not things that that are going to be conducive toward actually solving problems. And that's what is really sad about it. Is like constitution schmonstitution on this. It's not just about that. It's about whether it is one thing we want stuff to be constitutional, so on, but these are not smart policies. Even if they ended up being constitutional, they would not be smart policies.
I mean, from an ideological group such as the left, where it's trumpeted these types of these ideals, where we are constantly berated and bossed around by saying, we have to accept the indigent, we have to be loving towards the immigrant, the outcasts of society, those who are on the fringes of civilization, we have to bring in and bring together, unless
show them love.
They've not been jabbed, and then cast them aside, please. So,
well, it is remarkable to continue seeing that. And by the way, this is a good time to perhaps give a little plug to one of our newer projects that maybe you might want to subscribe to. I would say that if you're interested in pandemic issues, we got a new little project out there called The Pandemic Bites, and you can go to thepandemicbites.com and check out what that entails. It's just a little mailing list, and it gives some information that a number of us at LCI have written, and it's good stuff that will help you to kind of combat various arguments about things like vaccine mandates, lockdowns, and other various types of things about how the marketplace works to help prevent disease and provide good health services and so on and so forth. So check that out at thepandemicbites.com.
I wanted to throw in this little bit of wisdom here from one of the people that I follow on Twitter, Daryl Harrison. He's a great guy if you don't follow him. But he posted this here today in response to the Boston message. But that many people today are afraid to live because they're afraid to die. And it's because they're afraid to live that they want others to be afraid along with them. Fear doesn't like to be alone. It needs company in order to thrive. So don't let it thrive.
Amen, Daryl.
Yep. It's a good word. It's a good word.
For sure. Well, I feel like Aaron is in Boston right now, out in the cold, because he's been silent and on video. I feel it's like did Zoom fail us here or something? But Aaron, you have something that actually is somewhat equally as shocking as the Biden Christmas greeting or whatever, which is what I'm calling it, because that's the
Christmas greeting of 21.
The Christmas tree. Yeah, right.
Thanks, guys.
You have something equally as shocking regarding the Biden administration, but more specifically the Federal Reserve. So tell us
what
we should be afraid of.
Okay, not anymore.
Oh,
Republicans actually did the right thing for the wrong reasons, which is kind of weird. I guess
that's normal. Whenever, even when they do the right thing, it's usually for the wrong reason.
For the wrong reasons, yeah.
Only Ted Cruz was the one that, since it's kind of like the one that kind of understands crypto better. He was the one that was making a little bit of sense of what was happening.
Oddly enough, he speaks Spanish.
He does. So there's this lady, Sole Omarova, born in the Soviet Union.
Exotic.
Yeah, she was gonna be the new financial czar for the banking system, but not just but the whole financial system. Okay, from the Biden administration. Okay, so, and one of her main ideas since long ago was to get every single checking account deposit we have and put it inside the Fed, so that the Fed will control all of our
every single one of them.
Every single one of them. And I thought it was only the checking account, but it looks like it was also going to be the savings account as a way to say, let us pay you some interest rates or whatever. So it wasn't going to be just, so they wanted to take all and literally make it illegal to have any type of private bank whatsoever.
Does that mean we would all get the discount rate that the big banks get?
No, that's
short term.
That's kind of like the trick. Oh, you let me see absolutely everything. I control everything you do as long as you and we and we'll pay you 0.005% a year if you don't spend money.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. That's like at least that's 10x what I'm getting. So
there you go. So okay, that
solves inflation.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Just goes, no, it doesn't.
Now, and then everybody thought, hey, that's pretty good. Someone around here literally said, hey, but that's cool because that means everyone's gonna move to crypto. No, because she knew ahead of time that there was gonna be people like around here that were gonna think exactly that, and she said, since money's gonna kind of flow to the crypto market, that challenges that fintech as a whole, including crypto, are massive for new regulations. So her point was to, just like she was moving all the checking accounts and even savings accounts to the Fed so that it will be completely controlled by the Fed, cryptocurrencies were going to have to be fully controlled by the Biden administration. That's pretty much that was a big issue. So there were going to be a full attack on crypto. Now, so this was terrible. Everyone around any type of sense of free market money was completely against her provision. It really looked kind of very, very tacky that during the hearings they were attacking her because she was educated in the Soviet Union. And that was like the main attack that Republicans had against her. And honestly, that's the least of the concerns anybody that knew what they were talking about had, because actually a lot of guys that come out of the Soviet Union, they actually know that doesn't work. And so
wait. I thought it was the Democrats who were afraid of Russian influence.
That's what I was about to say. Wait a second. Didn't we spend the last 4 years like warned that Trump was some Russian puppet and that the Russians were going to come into our government and completely take over? And now we have actual Russians taking over.
Wait. Post-Soviet influence, not.
I knew I wore red for a reason.
Do you see the difference? Democrats were afraid of post-Soviet influence, not Soviet influence.
Oh, okay.
That's a
right.
fair point.
Well, that clarifies everything.
Very good. Yeah.
That might be the most poignant comment of the night, Aaron.
We don't want free market oil Russians. We want good commie gulag Russians.
Okay, and what we were trying to, I mean, obviously, I guess it wasn't like one of those things that true doesn't make a difference in life, and that we kind of have to be sad about it. But believe it or not, her ideas don't come from Soviet influence. Let me break it to you guys. It actually comes from Americans on the progressive era. Most specifically, farmers that used to support the civil rights. Oh, Brian, the
Brian
Bryanites.
Jennings Bryan. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, that's exactly, he wanted to nationalize as much as possible money so that it would be as cheap as possible. So that anyone that took a loan could actually pay it at 50% inflation.
Genius move.
Wow.
Now,
Fantastic.
you always have to simplify things. Honestly, guys, nothing like the Soviet Union is coming to America. Being realistic, it's just look at Argentina. If you want to know what anybody that has any power wants to impose in America, Soviet Russia is just outside. It's specifically government control of pretty much everything with some type of nominal private property. But as long as the government controls spending, then they can do whatever they want. Like,
it's interesting that you bring that up, because the history of the progressive movement in the early 20th century really is if you looked into it, a blot on the American intellectual world, because they sat back and dreamt up all of these big government communist type of things, and it was the Germans and the Russians who said, all you guys do is talk in circles, we're actually going to go out and do it. And they did, and then the Maoists came out with. So, and the Maoists, but that wasn't until the 50s. So,
well, it's sad.
Well, that was the big thing that obviously, I mean, I guess it's just a historical thing, but everybody, if you guys really want to understand what's coming, you have to go back to the civil rights and the progressive era. If you really understand the progressive era and everything around what happened and all that, that's exactly what, because those are the ideas that match the type of politics of the Democratic Party, which is to create networks of different groups that have almost nothing in common, but they can kind of help each other out. That's, if anybody wants to understand the Democratic politics, it's a creation of networks of groups that have nothing in common, but they can kind of scratch their back one to each other. And so that's really what we're facing. We're facing a type of in Spanish we literally call it cultural Peronism. If you guys know who Perón was longtime president of Argentina, which it was pretty much the same thing. You get a bunch of groups that don't care about each other and say, okay, all of you guys vote for me, and when I'm in power, I'll try to spread out some wealth here and there. So don't worry about it. You pretend that you guys get along, and that's pretty much what the Democratic Party is.
Doug, I have an idea for a show. Maybe we should all come to the table with our own favorite terrible progressive of the 20th century. And we can just all commiserate about how bad they were.
The worst, worst progressives.
It all began with Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, there you go.
I choose George Bernard Shaw.
I actually made a joke that it said, I bet someone's going to come out in Argentina with the idea of libertarian Peronism. It was a joke I made to other Spanish speakers, libertarians. The next day, I'm kidding you not, the next day I made the joke, I literally Googled it because I said, you know what? Someone already came out with it. I bet already did. I'm not the first one. Guess what? There was, in fact, there is, I think still, and there was some type of movement that it was kind of like libertarian, I don't know, Brian Knight or Silver, kind of like the idea of that one. That just print money, we'll figure something out, and we'll call it libertarianism, and just get as many people. Just get as many people in, even if they don't care about each other.
Is there a South American FBI that tapped your phone? Because that might be what it is. So,
ahead of time, right?
That's the same FBI, Matt.
That's the same.
Is it?
FBI.
Okay, good. All right.
All of the FBI.
There's only one. There's only one. So we're gonna transition to talking about.
Well, wait. We do need
we're not gonna transition.
It's got to be about Russia, though.
Oh,
so and that's it. If you do want ideas that sort of come out of Soviet Russia that are actually good, you got to look at the banned stuff, and you got to look at the guys who are post-Soviet Union as well, like Yuri Maltsev, who's an economist with the Mises Institute now, is a great guy. Or maybe read some Dostoevsky, the novels that Dostoevsky wrote, and such as the Brothers Karamazov or something like that. Or of course,
Russian stuff.
Yeah, of course, you could also, for instance, maybe read, go back a little farther, read some Leo Tolstoy. It's not bad, good stuff there. Or don't forget who else was born in Russia, or Soviet Russia in that case. Ayn Rand. Oh, yep. So watch out, because the individualists are coming from Russia too. So no worries about
Thank
that.
you for coming to the
Michael
segment of the
Malice.
show where Norman shows
Michael
off all the Russian names he knows.
Yeah, and pronounces them all wrong, probably.
Okay, so now my segue is going to be less transitional. So,
oh crap!
No, it's okay, because we needed to hear you say Karamazov or something like that.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, Aaron, we talked about the GOP doing things for the wrong reasons, but I think Joe Manchin, who's not in the GOP, he's a Democrat from West Virginia, did something for the right reasons. And he seems to be the only vote of no in the Democratic 50-50 battle with the Republicans for Build Back Better. And it sounds like it did not go through.
Well, it's sort of like that, shall we say. So I want to share Manchin's statement on this. And it's interesting. So everybody kind of knows that Build Back Better has been the kind of mandate of the Democratic Party for what's to happen in the near future, and it's supposed to hey, we're supposed to rebuild America yet again, because I guess that they blew it up with COVID, and so now it's something else. So what's interesting though is that the Senate, of course, is split exactly 50-50 in terms of 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats. So if there is to be if there is an exact split, then the deciding vote can go to the vice president, who presides over the Senate, of course. But in the event that you have one Democrat that opposes a bill, that does indeed tilt the majority in the Senate to the negative in that case. And in this case, all Republicans have actually opposed Build Back Better. Okay, that's good. This is a terrible bill. That is one of the, if not the largest, it's among the largest of spending bills that has ever been proffered by Congress in history. It's the cost is approximately about $4.5 trillion over a few years, which is probably about the largest single sum of money that I've ever seen in print. That is not some sort of like M1, M2 or something like that. That's utterly incredible when you kind of consider it. But Manchin actually appears to have stuck to his guns on this, and he claims in this particular statement that he has for months tried to work with Democrats and make this happen. But it is quite remarkable to see what even people are saying about it in response. There has been literally predictable results from fellow Democrats who have gone on CNN, MSNBC, and otherwise decrying Manchin's actions, including one Ilhan Omar, who has literally on national television said that Manchin's reasons are, and I quote, utter BS, but include the other 6 letters in that. And that was literally stated on national television. Wow. Good word there, lady. So it's pretty impressive, the lengths at which they're willing to try and reach out and basically slam Manchin and for basically standing up for some.
Well, not even the Democrats in the Senate or House, but even those in the media and the celebrities alike are just pilfering the guy as some sort of traitor to democracy. And I just feel like he actually went through the democratic process and we had democracy. You just don't like it. So,
well, and it's also funny because, his appeal has been that this is not good for West Virginia. And I can't, he literally says here, like at some point in this statement that I have said that if I could not go home to West Virginia and explain this, then I can't vote yes. As though like I have to be able to explain this to my constituents in order to do this. And then, but on the contrary, what you hear, the critics say of Manchin saying is like, he is a betrayer of the president. Now, look, okay, I understand that like Republicans who, have done the same thing with regards to Trump and people who oppose Trump, but it's like, this is a good thing, guys. We don't want this sort of monolithic, this monolithic loyalty to grandiose leadership like this. And so it's interesting to see. And I do think that what we will end up seeing, even if this doesn't come down to a vote, that it's going to start getting broken up and put into separate bills, which frankly would be better anyway. When, from a parliamentary process point of view, like you want to, if you're going to do this, like trying to roll it all into one omnibus, just not a good idea. But nonetheless, these types of policies are a disaster waiting to happen. And the only way that it's going to get resolved is through just strong opposition. And so I'm very heartened to see this. It's going to take a lot longer to get garbage through at this point. And the only thing we can really hope for in terms of the way that the Senate and Congress are working right now is through gridlock. So let's pray that continues to be the case.
Looks like Joe Manchin is off the Christmas card list.
I still don't believe it that
well, that's good. That means he'll live, right?
Yeah, right. Overwhelm the hospital.
What was that, Aaron?
I still cannot believe that a Democrat would have opposed. I still try to make sense of it. I don't understand.
So what you have to know,
it's good. It's just I have no clue why would he do it.
I can speak a little bit to this because, well, I mean, I don't live in West Virginia, but I grew up there, and there is a very different kind of Democrat that comes from West Virginia. It is very heavily fossil fuel industry driven, coal. There's a lot of renewables happening because there is, there's a lot of opportunities there. But when you meet a Democrat that's from West Virginia, they are very likely going to have a lot of conservative values. One of them being fiscal conservatism in a lot of ways. So you will very often see in West Virginia, you will often see a lot of Democrats get elected at state levels, but the president is typically the electoral college vote for the president typically goes to the Republican. Not always, but typically.
Because the Democrat is sufficiently conservative.
They're sufficiently conservative. They also, yeah, I mean, it gets deeper than that. I mean, I'm kind of giving a cursory thing, but it is a little bit strange to a lot of people that the state doesn't swing in the same direction in all levels. And it just happens to do with the nature of nature.
They're clearly not East or West Coast Democrats at that point.
Yeah, definitely not. No, they're definitely not. I mean, there's a lot of like my parents, which would be like the boomer generation. I mean, they grew up Democrat strongly, and it wasn't until like the 90s that they even started voting Republican at all, yet they still held some of the sort of like workers' rights values that on a state level are where those things actually ended up, being enacted. At least as I was growing up and things, and that's still, mostly true. So
is that where the kind of the term blue dog Democrat comes in to play?
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Yeah, West Virginia is also the place with one of the most beautiful resorts in America, the Greenbrier, which you can also go visit the former bunker of the United States Congress right there as well. It's kind of interesting. I just wanted to.
I thought you were going to talk about Canadian.
This episode Resort. Sponsored by the Green. No, it's not.
This might make sense to some of our listeners, but I do remember. I need to go back and see who was it, but it was somebody in the ambit or circles of Nassim Taleb that said something similar to, at the national level I'm libertarian, at the state level I'm Republican, at the city level I'm a Democrat, in my house I'm a communist because I don't charge my kids when they eat yet. So it is perfectly feasible to have different expectations from different levels of government, and I think that's very healthy, because that shows the diversity of expectations, cultures, and political aspirations of America. We have more than 300 million people. We shouldn't be divided into just two colors and that's it. I think this is actually healthy that we have this kind of situation. Now, I'm fascinated now with this topic.
I think we all just heard though from Aaron that he throws his kids in his basement gulag whenever they don't behave. So.
That's any Tuesday, so imagine when he gets back.
My house is a benevolent dictatorship.
So says the patriarchy.
Well, we'll end with the benevolence here and wish everybody a Merry Christmas. You guys have anything else we want to say?
What are you guys wishing for Christmas? Let me know. Aaron?
Potty trained children?
What do you want to do?
What do you want for Christmas?
What's your Christmas
What do I
wish?
want
Here
for
at Santa's
Christmas?
workshop, I've got to fix it up for you. What do you want for Christmas?
No clue what I want from Christmas. I haven't thought
None?
about it yet.
All right.
Norman
you're
has
getting
had
coal.
me working over working hours, so there's no, I haven't had the time to think about Christmas yet. I didn't
right.
even know that we're in December.
Lumps.
In my mind, I'm still
Norman, what do you
Problem in
want for
Southern
Christmas?
Texas,
buddy?
isn't it?
Oh, I told you already. I need potty trained children.
Potty trained children. All right, Doug, what do you want for Christmas?
Peace and quiet.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. All right.
inexpensive gas.
Inexpensive.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Yes, that's it.
Come
That's
on.
always the answer.
That's always the
Bitcoin.
answer.
Well,
Bitcoin fixes this.
That is long-term capital. I need present capital. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks
Right.
for economics lesson.
Okay, so everybody, thank you for joining us, and we would like you to subscribe on our YouTube channel, on your podcast app, podcatcher apps, whatever you do. Rate and review us. Share us on social media, or share the episodes. You can't share us because we're non-reproducible.
Yeah.
But you can share our content. So do all of that. And visit us on libertarianchristians.com. And we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad.